Greetings and welcome. As you come on in, please type a 12 in the chat if you can see me and hear me, or shoot some emojis. Let me know that I am indeed broadcasting. It was a bit of a clunky start on my end. I actually was wondering if we would be able to broadcast at all, but everything looks good. Looks like we have a good, strong signal finally. Internet has been, to say wonky lately would be an understatement. And don't get me started on YouTube. Last time I got started on YouTube, our SEM Mondays was interrupted, so I will not go there because I created SEM Mondays to help you, not to complain about what it's like for a broadcaster on YouTube. But yes, indeed, greetings and welcome to SEM Mondays, our live questions and answers show, weekly live show. And since, I think it was back in March when COVID became a pandemic, really, right, when it began to affect us really in a broad and serious way, significant way, I extended the format from just a quick Q&A every week to a much longer format, which includes a group energy healing session. It's free, it's completely safe, and this is a way for me to be able to support you during this crisis, during this pandemic, and bless you for taking time out of your busy week. I personally think starting the week with your health and well-being in mind, I think is a fantastic way of starting your week off. And just in case we have not met yet before, my name is Stephen Pollitt, and I'm the creator of Source Energy Medicine. And I've been sharing Source Energy Medicine enthusiastically since 2005. And I always have to say that because I had massive resistance to actually doing this, to creating Source Energy Medicine. I honestly thought that it was simply an answer from God to help me to heal myself. And boy, what a limited perspective that was. And I am at this point very, very fortunate that I had some excellent coaching and some fantastic support to get me through the various layers of resistance to why I didn't want to be this guy here. We didn't have YouTube in 2005. But, there were stages and workshops and things like that, and I didn't want to be that guy either. But now I show up here every Monday morning, really excited to connect with you, excited to see what questions you have. And this is a great way for us to be able to connect virtually from the safety, comfort of our own home or office, and get the answers to your questions in a live and timely manner. And I know so many people, large majority of people watch SEM Mondays in replay. And if you are watching in replay, you can still shoot emojis in the comments and you can still ask questions. And I do my best to answer as many questions as possible that come in. So I have questions that have come in through a couple of different ways that questions make their way to me. And I'll do my best to bounce back and forth. We'll do the questions and answers first, and then we'll segue into the group energy healing session. And God willing, we'll be back here next Monday for more of the same. So just checking the chat here, and yes, thank you, Fifth Wheel Red, for your healing request. If you have a healing request, a lot of people like to make their healing requests. You can put them in the chat, but just be aware that the this is a public forum, right? YouTube is a public forum. YouTube has their own guidelines there to caution you about. Just be aware of what you share in the chat, right? It's a public forum. Some people like to email me their healing requests, and it's not essential, right? Which is interesting because within the scope of Source Energy Medicine, you are always the one that's healing yourself. So me being aware of what your goal is or what your challenge is not essential. I am more acting as a guide, and I will help you to get to the place where you will be able to heal yourself. And it is really just removing the resistance, removing the roadblocks, removing that which prevent you from being self-balancing, self-healing, and self-correcting in every way. So thank you for the healing request. It's for Mariana's back, which is in spasms and pain, is out of alignment. I will absolutely hold that in my awareness. So thank you for the kind words, Helen and Ada. Awesome to have you with us. Ada's joining us from Calgary, Alberta. Very, very cool. And a hi from Franco and Marina. This is like happy Canadian Thanksgiving. I was going to say this is like Canadian Day here. We've got 2 comments back to back from Alberta and one from Victoria, BC. That's awesome. When I was doing live workshops, I spent a lot of time in Canada, and I have so many good friends in Canada, and I miss going to. It was mostly in the Greater Toronto area, but gosh, I really, really miss that. And yet, I am so grateful that we have completely transitioned to doing all of our workshops online, because otherwise we wouldn't be able to, you wouldn't be able to learn everything about source energy medicine, whether it's the fundamentals or how to do the energy healing work or how to become a certified source energy medicine coach. Thanks to technology and thanks to a crazy, now maybe less crazy, but it was a crazy notion to transition all of our workshops to online. I had no idea what I was getting myself into, which is, for me, often a good thing, because had I known then what I know now, I likely would not have committed to it. But just so you know, I mean, all of our workshops have been transitioned. Like, this isn't a sales pitch. This isn't a promotion. You couldn't register for our workshops today if you wanted to, but all of our workshops, from the fundamentals, the coach training, the certified source energy medicine coach training, and then the 2 levels of non-material source energy medicine, the energy healing component of source energy medicine, we've changed the format to make it more accessible, more available, more affordable for everyone. So there is a monthly, it's all based on a membership model. So you can pay on a month-to-month member, as a month-to-month member, or an annual membership, or a lifetime membership. And there's obviously different price structure for each. But as a way of being able to continue to learn everything that you want to learn about source energy medicine. The only one that's not in a membership model is the special master class that I created, really to support. So many people were asking about it when this pandemic started, and it clearly focuses on COVID, but it is really much more expansive than that. It covers anything that would be characterized as an acute condition, like vomiting in the middle of the night, or a cold, or a flu, or sore throat, earache, a lot of migraine headaches. All of these are characterized as acute conditions, which are typically described as a sudden and rapid onset, right? We were feeling okay, and then all of a sudden things started to happen. So the special master class on acute conditions, it's really about emergency preparedness, right? Just being prepared for life. That's the only one that's not on a membership model, because it's a master class, right? It's not a 3 or 4 or 5 week in-depth workshop, and that's $111. So most folks, it's manageable, it's doable. So there were some questions that came in. Actually, Milo just caught my attention right before he came on, and he said, could I please talk about, it's interesting because the healing request for Marina, muscle spasms, Milo asked, could I, if I had time, to include talking about pulled muscles, cramped muscles, locked muscles, and then we have this muscle spasm for Marina. So really great time to talk about that. And the questions were not from the energy healing component or the energy healing side of source energy medicine, but from a charging label side, which is what most people are exploring. A muscle cramp, muscle spasm, muscle pull, a muscle that seems to be frozen. There are a lot of possible underlying, like what is contributing to this. If you've been following me for any length of time, first and foremost, the calibration of the physical aspect of our being has to be below 200. Could be temporarily, could be momentarily, but that's something, right? It could be just below 200, but that's always something to look at. But it could be mineral imbalance. If the balance of minerals in your body is off, which is usually related to hydration, underhydration, overhydration can contribute to an imbalance of minerals, right? So balance fusion number one would be a really good one to explore. I personally would eat a lot more dark leafy green vegetables, maybe so much that I would want to juice them because I couldn't eat as much as would probably be helpful, broccoli, dark leafy greens for the most part would be a fantastic. Adding sea salt to your diet if you don't already, and as much as possible try and avoid table salt, but use sea salt in your diet. And as far as charging labels go, well, there's also, could be a physical trauma, right? Some sort of traumatic injury. So charging label wise, we have transformation number 18, which is transformation of pain. T41, which is swelling and inflammation. T7 and 8, transformation or trauma transformation and stress transformation, are all ones that I would absolutely go to, no question about it. And then T49, physical trauma, physical injury / trauma transformation would also be a really, really good one. But because there's not, so from my perspective, the calibration of the physical aspect of the being is the root cause. Once that's established, then there's a whole lot of other things that contribute to it, and it's a matter of utilizing source energy medicine charging labels until you are successful, or showing up here on SEM Mondays as Marina did, or scheduling a session with myself or one of our practitioners to work on that specifically. But those would be the ones that I would go to. And again, don't forget BF1, balance fusion number one. And don't forget that proper hydration and a good, well-rounded diet that is based on organic, real food, right? Food that has not been processed. It's hard to use the word whole foods these days without referring to the chain quasi-health food store. I'm not talking about the store. I'm talking about food that looks like what it looked like when it was growing or when it was alive, right? So, and eating food that is nutrient dense, like a lot of organic sprouts, a lot of microgreens are some of the most nutrient dense foods on the planet. So I hope that's helpful, and certainly, Marina, I will send some extra love your way during the group energy healing session, and look forward to hearing what you experience. The other thing that Milo caught my attention on, it's interesting, because we were talking this morning, we hadn't received many questions that, we couldn't just easily point someone to a video on our YouTube channel for the answer. And one of the good things about doing, having our YouTube channel now for a while, you can go to Google or you could go to YouTube. YouTube is the world's second largest search engine, so very similar to searching on YouTube is very similar to searching on Google, specifically if you're looking for a video, right? So you can type in source energy medicine and whatever it is that you're curious about and find that video, right, pretty easily. So most of the questions that have come in over the last couple of weeks, we've been able to simply point people to videos on our YouTube channel so that we can use our time together live for questions that are not so common or ones that we have not yet already covered on a we refer to them as nuggets of source energy medicine wisdom videos, and there's a bunch of them. There's a couple of different playlists. There's a playlist that's all about the sample protocol and modifying it, adding it to it, adding individual transformation source energy medicines. When do I do that? Is there any downside to doing it? Things like that. So the one about the sample protocol, I think it's a short playlist, yet those three videos, I think it's 3 videos that are in that playlist. It's like a master class, in the sample protocol. So I think and a lot of the videos that we have on YouTube are much more in depth than time allows for answers on SEM Mondays. They're more like the level of depth of an answer that I am able to offer during our webinars that are part of our online workshops. So, I always think Googling or searching on YouTube is your best bet to begin with. And if you can't find the answer to your questions, then send us an email saying, I looked on your YouTube channel and this is my question, or the topic that I want to learn more about. Do you have a video on it, or can you make a video on it or address it on SEM Mondays? So I am always curious about what you folks want to, what your questions are. If you are totally new to source energy medicine, maybe somebody just shared this link with you. I offer everything that's essential to your journey with source energy medicine for free. It's inside of a quick start guide. I used to call it a mini class in source energy medicine, and it's definitely not a mini class anymore. I think there are 15 or 16 videos in all. Everything that you'll need to be able to make and take source energy medicine in your own home. All you have to supply is a way to be able to print the charging labels, suitable containers, and good quality water. And there are videos where I talk about exactly what all of that means in good detail. So the other thing that Milo grabbed my attention about was what is often characterized as a psychic attack. And it's an odd term for me. It's a term that I've never really been able to understand. But a psychic attack is like a lot of things. It's like a sliding scale. At the low end, it's someone thinks of me and they think of unkind thoughts. Right? Course in Miracles teaches us that everyone feels everything on a subconscious level. Right? So if someone thinks an unkind thought about me, right, it would be the low end of the scale. On a subconscious level, I feel it. Now, the more highly sensitive a person I am, the more I'm going to feel it. The high end of that scale would be what would be characterized as voodoo, right? Or an evil spell, or black magic, or someone who wishes someone dead, right? So within that whole scope of things, not that long ago, well, actually now probably long ago, say 20 years ago, I did not think it was possible to be psychically attacked. I thought because I have free will and I could do things to protect myself, that no one could psychically attack me. And that was not only inaccurate, but it was denying. It would be like saying, I don't believe gravity is true, and I'm going to go about my life thinking that gravity is not true, and all around me is evidence that gravity is true, right? Try and avoid gravity, right? Try and transcend gravity. Certainly some yogis and kung fu people have demonstrated they can defy gravity, but that's a very, 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 very rare individual, and temporarily, right? Just for a short period of time. But the rest of us are subject to the law, universal laws, and one of the universal part of what is, the way we interact as humans is we feel things on a subconscious level. So I don't know if you've ever had the experience of you walk into a coffee shop or a restaurant or a bar, and you just think like, gosh, something's not right here, And I think it happens more frequently for women than for men, but that's not always true. I've had experiences where I thought like, there's something really not, and like everything in my body's just saying like, just leave, right? Just go. And, I think it's very unfortunate that women cannot walk around unaccompanied, right? Alone or with another woman without being harassed verbally or psychically. So we do have a transformation source energy medicine. It's T59, which is phenomenally helpful. I've heard great feedback on that. And within the non-material aspect of source energy medicine, the energy healing component, there are things that we can do, tools that we can do that go way beyond what T59 is capable of. And for most people, T59 does it, right? Because if you've had a pulse for any length of time, there are likely people who, when they think of you, they don't think fond thoughts. And there might be people who, when they think of you, they really don't wish you well, and which means they wish you harm. And there might be people even more extreme than that. So I think part of it is like cleaning up my messes where I can, right? If you're a student of the 12 steps, making amends, right? Taking responsible for my transgressions, for my, if it was a business partner that ended in a less than ideal way, even if it looks like I'm a victim in that role, I still played a role, right? I still chose to be a victim in that role in some way. So, 12 Steps teaches us to make amends, to apologize, to try and correct things if at all possible. And the only caveat is unless it's going to cause more damage, right? So forgiveness practice, I think, is such an important part of healing in general. And I think if I can clean up as many of my messes from my past relationships as possible, then there's fewer people who are thinking ill of me when they think of me, right? And more people are thinking of me, I also feel subconsciously the love and the blessings and the gratitude. So I do think T59 for most folks, clean up your messes as best as you can, as long as you're not going to cause more damage in the trying to, a lot of forgiveness work is to relieve the burden of guilt from me, which is often unfair to the other. That's a whole conversation for probably not SEM Mondays. And then there are some folks where it's such a big issue. I've worked with a couple of people like without the ability to do what we're able to do with the energy healing. I don't think they ever would have been well. And in some cases it was pretty extreme what the level of it was. One that comes to mind was a man who was just filled with light and love, and light so bright that he showed up. He showed up big. He was an international author, and his message was all about love. And as sad as it is to say these words, not everyone on this planet is interested in an agenda that's based on loving each other. And he was being so severely attacked psychically, like people literally wanted him dead. And if it weren't for the techniques and the tools that we have within the non-material aspect of source energy medicine, I'm not sure how successful I'm not sure, like when I started working with him, I thought he was going to die any day. And it wasn't because of the psychic attacks, but that was a big part of it. The challenge was the psychic attacks were so strong, he had a really hard time achieving his ideal energy level. It was almost like a roller coaster. He'd achieve it and then it would plummet. It was like being slingshot back and forth. And it wasn't, the T59 was helpful, but it wasn't until we did the techniques, literally shields, that he was able to, within short order, completely, transform, balance, and restore very, very, very significant challenges, and have what he described as, for the first time in like 40 years, a sense of peace, a sense of well-being, a sense of, I only feel people blessing me. I don't feel people wanting me dead. 40 years is a long time to be carrying around that burden and carrying around that kind of negative energy, right? All of that would calibrate so low, it would interfere with my energy level. So I hope that's helpful. I just want to check the chat real quick for questions. Thank you all for the kind words and the blessings and the words of appreciation. And another Canadian saying Happy Thanksgiving. That's awesome. Let's see his question. Thank you, Stephen. I have a question around the charging labels. What is the charging behavior pattern to attract success. I have a special request for healing for lower back pain. That's awesome, and really great question. So honestly, everything that is in the sample protocol is designed to enable us to achieve success. Success in health, success in relationships, success with our finances, success in any entrepreneurial endeavor or any business that we wanted to engage in or work within or join. And the reason why I say that is, if you really think about it, the calibration of each of those aspects is going to determine what I experience, right? And then the way the subconscious mind is expressing itself is the biggest contributing factor to success and not success, or how long it takes to achieve success, right? And there are certainly, my life before source energy medicine, my subconscious mind, my overall energy level was way below 200. And yet I was successful in certain areas of my life. It just means that those areas of my life, those areas were calibrated at my ideal energy level. And I didn't have any resistance, no subconscious resistance to success in those areas. And I had a high level of allowance, right? So if all of this is new to you, you don't understand energy levels, there's some really good videos on our YouTube channel where I talk about that and really what it means to me on a day-to-day life, how the calibration of my physical aspect, my mental aspect, which often is lumped together with emotional aspect, I separate them. My spiritual journey, finances, relationships, career, creativity, all of those things, to a large degree, it's the calibration of those aspects, and then how much subconscious resistance I have and how much allowance I have. So there are some really good videos on our YouTube channel also where I go into the importance of, to me, long-term positive results in any area in terms of transformation, like an area that's experiencing challenge. It's completely impossible unless I first transform my subconscious mind. So yeah, I know it's probably a different approach for a lot of you than this isn't the kind of approach where there's a particular virus and you take a particular virus energy medicine. It's much, we certainly have, right? We have a whole bunch of different transformation source energy medicines, and a lot of them are for specific pathogens like virus. And yet, if I don't transform the physical aspect of my being from wherever it's calibrated to my ideal energy level, or at least above 200, I'm just constantly going to be taking different source energy medicines or different whatever treatment option I choose, because I'm constantly going to be experiencing challenges. So I hope that makes sense. And yeah, so I'm going to segue into setting us up for the group energy healing session. I turn my camera off when I do this work, and I'll put chanting on so that you know that we're still broadcasting. And if you're joining us late and if you have a question, please go ahead and post something into the chat. And right before I come back, I'll scan through the chat and see if I can answer another question or two before skedaddling for the day. And for me, I always like to suggest you choosing one goal or one challenge. And my main reason in that, my main logic is, if you have 5 challenges and you want to focus on all 5, it's hard to determine in terms of measurable results what's working, right, and what's not. So if you choose one goal or one challenge per session, right, you can watch the replay from this particular broadcast a dozen times and choose a different goal, different challenge each time. Or you could watch any of the replays from any of the SEM Mondays that we've been doing since March. They all, towards the end of them, have an energy healing session. Each one is different, each one is unique, and we certainly don't have time to explain why, but they are. And yet each one holds unlimited potential and possibility for you, because you are always healing yourself. And I hope that makes sense. It's always the source energy that is within you that is invited to come out and play, right? Invited to come out and do what it's there for, right? So, and to a large degree, it's really removing the resistance to that and then increasing an attitude of allowance of that that enables us to heal ourselves. So, as much as possible, if it is appropriate for you, to get as comfortable as you can, and if it's a lot of people like to close their eyes to receive this session, and please only do that if it's safe and comfortable and appropriate for you. And there's definitely is massive benefit to re-watching, revisiting. I know a lot of people since this pandemic started are watching one of the replays from SEM Mondays once or twice a day, just to carve out a little bit of time to step away from the stress and to devote to our healing journey. So I think it's absolutely brilliant, and again, there's unlimited potential. There's unlimited upside and no downside. What does it take? 5-10 minutes? And I think the more you schedule that into your time, I think you'll find yourself making rapid progress. And also just able, never before as humans have we experienced for this length of time the level of stress and fear and uncertainty that we have. Certainly there have been other worldwide events that have caused those same things, and yet this is different in a lot of ways, right? This is insidious in a lot of ways, especially the having the virus but being asymptomatic. I mean it's stealthy and really unsettling to think about. So achieving your ideal energy level and maintaining your ideal energy level is the key to staying healthy during not only this pandemic but every day for the rest of your life. So if you're new to source energy medicine, new to the energy healing, which is the non-material aspect of source energy medicine, and you want to learn more, there are 2 videos on our YouTube channel where I talk about it as best as I can. But it's the same technology that's in our charging labels, but it's called the non-material aspect because there's no material substance, meaning no charging labels, no bottles, no water. And it is much, much, much faster. It's much more direct. It's much more efficient. It's a much more efficient way of experiencing our technology. So I just want to see if there are any questions about, I don't see any questions that are specific to the energy work. So I'm going to go ahead and get things set up on my end. And I invite you to get to a place where you can be as comfortable as you possibly can be where you are. And, stay safe, use common sense, do things that feel comfortable. And as much as possible, simply allow and receive. Give thanks for the divine orchestration that led you to this time, this place, this experience. And as you get comfortable and relaxed and begin to allow, think about that one goal or that one challenge that you would like to experience, what you would like to receive. And know that since it is the source of all creation that is within you, there is absolutely no order of difficulty when it comes to goals or challenges. There's no such thing as a small goal and a big goal. They're all simply things I decide that I would like to experience. And then the work is to get into alignment with that experience and to transform any resistance to experiencing that and increase the attitude of allowance so that it does become real in every way that I could possibly experience it. So as much as possible, see your goal or your challenge as being fully realized, fully experienced, measurable in every way that it could be discerned. And as much as possible, see it from the end, if you will, which is, I believe, the way the source of all creation sees any of your requests. And I think one of the most powerful requests, one of the most powerful prayers is simply a prayer for guidance, right? Ask for guidance so that we can show up for each other, so that I can step into the greatness that I was created to be, so that I can serve anyone who the source of all creation puts on my path. As much as possible, see yourself the way the source of all creation sees you, which I believe is as whole and perfect, complete, innocent, eternal. Unlimited potential and possibility. Free of guilt, free of sin, incapable of harsh judgment, only capable of extending and receiving love. Continue to allow and continue to receive. Continue to relax and breathe comfortably. I invite you to take a nice deep breath. And another through your nose if that's comfortable for you, and just feel the air as it gently enters your nostrils. And if your eyes are closed, please go ahead and slowly blink them open. And come on back to this time-space reality here and now on YouTube, on SEM Mondays Live. I mentioned right before that you could watch any of the replays because ultimately there is unlimited potential and possibility in each one. And yet, for me, each one is very different. And I alluded to the fact that there are a lot of variables that go into what makes each one unique. And it's the group of people primarily, right, that come together. And if you think about it, every time we do this, we're creating our own little morphic field, if you understand morphic fields. And each one is going to be different. It's going to be special. It's going to be unique. And think about it. Someone could watch this video 10 years from now, and in a way, they're contributing to our morphic field here today. If indeed Einstein was correct and time is an illusion of consciousness. So in a sense, our morphic field is as big as it's ever going to be. And all of that potential, all that possibility is here in this moment, in this time-space reality. And, it's interesting because I've never facilitated or experienced a non-material source energy medicine session that has not been unique and different and uplifting, inspiring, thought-provoking. I always feel like I'm wrapped in a warm blanket of unconditional love, as opposed to being, naked and alone in a cold, harsh world, which is the way I felt most of my life. Like I just did not belong and did not believe in source energy, did not believe in God. And, to now have the experience of being wrapped in that unconditional love of the source of all creation, love of God, and to be able to embody that, be able to experience that, and to be able to share that with you is such a gift, such a blessing. And part of the reason why I'm, sort of taking back some of my words is like this session was unique and in ways that I'll be curious about for a long, 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 long time. So I always love to hear how this landed for you. So, Marina, I hope the muscle spasms completely transformed, balanced, and restored. And please let me know. You know how to me, and please let me know. And I look forward to hearing how that lands for you. And so, I really think that there are blessings and miracles that are in this. They're in every session, and yet this one does feel unique. It does feel special. It does feel pregnant with possibility that is it's standing out for me compared to others. So I just wanted to share that, and if any of you feel the same thing or experiencing something that is extraordinary, please share that, whether you're watching this live or watch it in a replay. So I just want to back up here. The twins' mama, it's her first time joining us from Philadelphia, PA. Welcome, welcome. I love your screen name. From my perspective, there is no greater job than being mama, right? Being mother. And, it's always, to me, a joy when I have the opportunity to work with a woman who wants desperately to have a child, and for whatever reasons they're being told, parents are being told that, or couple is being told that they can't. And there have to be, 20 or 30 or 40 children that I am aware of, people that either I worked with or one of our practitioners worked with or just shared their experience with me, who were in a situation where they were told by expert after expert after expert that they would never conceive, and if they did, the pregnancy would not go full term, and if it did, then it probably would not be a healthy baby. and gosh, and everyone that I'm thinking of, and they weren't all that extreme, right? Some were just in what would be characterized as infertility issues, right? They're anatomically correct. Everything seems to be like they should be able to conceive, and yet they don't. So bless you, twins, mama, for your twins. And twins have I have a unique relationship with twins. And I have some theories about that, but we had neighbors live next door to us who, when we moved in this house in 2004, they were really young. I think they were probably 2 years old. And they moved when they were like 16. So a boy and a girl. And it was fantastic. I just absolutely, I still love those children and light up every time that I see them. They're young adults now, but they're very unique and special. And it's, I think, an extra special gift. The baby is a blessing in so many ways, and twins are just that expanded, except it's not just a doubling of the blessing. It's more of exponential growth. So awesome to have you join us, twins, mama, and I hope to see you back here again. Awesome to have you with us, Curtis. And Amana, thank you for your kind words and for what you shared. And thank you for what you shared about T59, the psychic attack, being very helpful for you. That's great to hear. And I got to tell you, for a guy who didn't think it was possible before, I am now just so curious by all of that. And all of those years that I was in denial of that being possible was not helpful at all. There's a teaching from the Way of Mastery that goes something like this. Denial can never purify the mind, for unless I choose to embrace that which I am denying, light can never return to the place where shadow once dwelt. So, I don't know, denial sometimes is a form of fantasy and escape, but ultimately, I don't think it helps anyone, and in some cases, it's harmful, right? So once I realized that that was possible, and I was open to, well, maybe that's true for me, and then did something about it, it was a very dramatic difference, right? So the denial was not helping at all, right? I was still affected by gravity, if you will. So, and gosh, I can't see your name very clearly on my screen. I think it's Kushubu who asked the question earlier. Said, thank you for answering the question, but have a question about mixing multiple labels together. So either on YouTube or in the Quick Start Guide, please watch carefully the How to Make and How to Take Source Energy Medicine video. I explain everything that you want to know. One of the few things that you cannot do is put more than one charging label on a bottle. If you do that, you're not making source energy medicine. It's not going to work for you. So that, I think, is, on one way it seems efficient, it seems clever. On the other hand, that to me is maybe an indication that your subconscious mind is afraid of the change that you're about to experience and trying to sabotage your efforts. So watch the video, make notes, pay attention, don't get creative, just follow the simple instructions. Every time I see somebody get creative, to me that's like a trademark of the subconscious mind. And sometimes the creativity is a helpful tool for, like, every morning somebody's got to mix source energy medicines for everyone in the household who's taking them. So it does, if you have a tip for being able to do that, make it easier, that's one thing. But don't get creative with trying other things like putting more than one charging label on a bottle. It's the fastest way to not make the source energy medicines that you want to make. So, that's all I have for you, folks. If you found this helpful and while you were experiencing either the questions and answers or the energy healing or all of it, and someone came to your mind, YouTube makes it super, super easy to share a video. There's a link below. You just click share and you have like 4 different, 5 different, 6 different options for being able to share this. My mission is to help every sentient being on this planet to heal themselves, and it's why I offer our technology for free. Because otherwise there would be easily 2 billion people with a B who would not be, even if it was $10, there would be 2 billion people or more who would not be able to access source energy medicine. So if you think of someone who, of course, is open, right, open to these conversations and these approaches to total body wellness, something that's safe and effective, universally applicable, and free, share this video. If you click that cool little bell icon, you'll be notified when I'm live. YouTube will notify you when I'm live, and let you know when I upload a new nugget of source energy medicine wisdom video. Certainly subscribing to our channel is the best way that I can continue to be able to help you. God willing, I'll be back here next Monday for another SEM Mondays live. And one thing I do want to clarify, while all of the registration for our workshops are closed, I left open the registration for the special masterclass on emergency preparedness, because that's the kind of thing that I think is so empowering and so vitally important. Even before the pandemic, that kind of information, I talk about it in our fundamentals workshop, but not in this level of depth and detail. So I'll ask Milo to include a link in the description to this video to more information about the special master class. And we will be opening up registration on our fundamentals workshops probably within a couple of weeks with that new model of membership, where you can subscribe to your membership for a monthly, annual, or lifetime membership. So bless you for taking time out of your day to contribute to focus on healing yourself. I wish you continued blessings, not only on your journey with source energy medicine, but definitely on your journey with source energy medicine, but bigger than that, in every aspect of your life. So blessings to you, my friends. Bye for now.